Hey guys, welcome back to the Charismatic Nerd. Today I want to respond to one video, No Friends, No Social Life, No Career at 29 by EK Panchi. Apologize for mispronouncing that name. I watched that video and yeah, it hurt. It hurt. It hurt watching that, and I have to give props to the guy first for being vulnerable and open and honest. Especially on the internet, that can be quite ruthless. But watching this video, I felt compelled to respond. And it seems like, the guy has tried things and is not giving up, which, again, props to you, man. But I just feel like there's just a few tweaks, and I'm not trying to oversimplify his challenges, guys. I remember all the hard times I went through, and people would give me religious platitudes or just lame ass platitudes. It would never make me feel any better, and I don't want to do any of that. But I do just want to help give this guy a nudge if he's willing to watch or listen to this, and hopefully, inspiring you guys going through something very similar. So again, just responding to that: no friends, no social life, no career at 29. So the guy did mention that he tried therapy. He has suffered through a lot of childhood trauma, depression, anxiety, broke up with his girlfriend from 4.5 years, about a year ago. So the guy's been through a lot. And one thing I do want to mention that he said, like, he did therapy, it didn't work, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to call a bullshit on that, and I mean that in the most respectful way. I think the thing is, I know a lot of people who go and do therapy and then stop and say it doesn't work and whatnot. And I think one of the misconceptions about therapy is that it's a journey. It's an emotional and painful journey. And I went through it, and I know what it's like, because I hated therapy the first time I went through it. And keep in mind, guys, I am a practicing Muslim. I come from an Ethiopian background. So therapy was just complete BS to me and my family. Like, it's only like weak people who'd go to therapy, again, which was like a horrible myth to believe in. But when I went to therapy, I was at 28. My wife was across the country doing her schooling. I was jobless, and I think for the first time, really, I was actually like living alone. And I just felt like a total loser. I just felt totally helpless, and I went to therapy reluctantly, even though it was of my own volition. I went, and I swear to God, I think the first few weeks of therapy I thought were complete BS, but I wanted to give it my all, my heart and soul. I gave it all. And the thing with therapy is that it takes time for you to see results, because session by session, you're uncovering different layers of all the things you've been through, all the illusions, the lies you've been telling yourself. Imagine living life and going through decades, burying yourself under so much pain, illusions, frustrations, that, to be quite honest, it's really even hard to even know yourself at times. And what therapy does is it helps guide you through this emotional journey, which will feel hellish, absolutely hellish, because you're allowing those suppressed emotions, you're allowing yourself to relive the trauma, all that. It sucks. It's a painful journey, but as Rollo May once said, may he rest in peace, he once said that you have to go through your personal hell in order to go to your personal heaven. The journey to heaven will always go through hell, and sometimes we're just afraid to go through hell. It sucks, it's painful, but that's the only way. And as you're going through your therapy journey, again, this takes time. Like, after a while, you will start learning self-honesty. It's not something that you pick up immediately, and any benefit you see from therapy doesn't come immediately. It takes time. And self-honesty is one of those things that takes a long time, because you have to realize that you are lying to yourself, which sucks. Realizing that you've been lying to yourself for years, and lying to yourself for years and not realizing that they were lies. I think that's what, at least, I found frustrating. So, and when you've been doing that for so long, it takes time to learn self-honesty. And I think throughout this whole therapy journey, you have to kind of look at it similar to like classical literature. I find that classical literature is similar to the emotional journey that you go through, where you have to go through a horrible, rough patch, and when you're willing to listen, that's when you're willing to grow from all that pain and suffering and become the person that you're truly meant to be. But again, all this takes time, and you have to respect the process. Otherwise, you're just looking for a band-aid solution. Now, another thing I want to address is the aspect of humanizing yourself. So seeing this individual, obviously, he has his personal issues and whatnot, but he had unfortunately didn't get much support from his parents, and it's easy to hate the world. It's easy to blame other people and whatnot, and I don't think he's doing that to a sense, but I feel like the guy needs to learn to humanize himself first, and then he'll be able to humanize others. And the reason why I say that is because, personally for me, I think one of my difficulties in life is I had one parent walk out of my family, and I had the other parent treat me horribly. And, this all caused low self-esteem, abandonment issues, low confidence, and all that. And I blamed the world. I blamed the world. I blamed the world for everything, for my issues, why I was like this, that, making me just this loser, really. Yeah, like, I remember one time, like, I was so angry at God. I was like, I was a good Muslim boy, and why are you putting me through this? I remember that. It was kind of naive of me looking back, but what can you expect from like a 17, 18-year-old kid that doesn't know much? And, going through therapy, I really learned to humanize myself. And when I was able to humanize myself, I was able to humanize my parents. I understand, like, that one parent that left, it was a hard choice, but they had to do it for their sake, for whatever reason. And for the other parent that treated me horribly, I can't blame them. All of a sudden you're left with 4 mouths to feed, and you're all by yourself, not knowing what to do, and you just took that anger out on the eldest. So, and I'm not gonna fault my parents for that. They did the best that they could with what they knew. And I think for this fellow here, it's the same thing. It sucks, you didn't have very supportive parents or a social group and whatnot, but everyone's trying to do their best with what they know, and unfortunately, that comes at the cost of hurting you per se. But just humanize yourself first. You're a human being that has their flaws, challenges, and is trying to live and trying to figure out what's the best path. And once you can learn to do that, it'll be easier to humanize others and forgive others for the things that they should have given you. And again, therapy will teach you that, but you have to be patient. And now I'm gonna switch gears and not talk about therapy, because I think I always talk about therapy to my viewers. But I think one thing is really understanding this harsh truth of life, that life is painful. Yeah, life is painful. It always has, and it'll always be. And it's a matter of wondering, how will life break my heart? But it's in spite of that pain that you keep moving forward. That's the only way to go. There's this quote from Kierkegaard's Epigraph, where he says, to venture causes anxiety, but not to venture is to lose oneself. And to venture in the highest sense is precisely to become conscious of oneself. So you have to understand that no matter what path you take, it's going to be painful, and it's better to take the road where you're at least engaging with the world, trying, doing something. Even though it might be anxious, feel horrible, that's where you have to go. And if you read any like classical literature, you'll see that the protagonist goes through a tremendous amount of pain. Tremendous. There's no great novel where the protagonist doesn't go through some form of emotional pain. I think one of my favorite examples is Oedipus. As you all know, Oedipus is the king, who killed his father and married his mother. And when Oedipus finds out, he is just broken, hurt, destroyed. And it took him it took him, I don't know, a while to finally accept himself as the human being that he was. And that's how he was able to find peace. And keep in mind, Oedipus didn't shy away from the pain. He accepted the pain. He understood to society he was a vile creature. He never shied away from it, and he wasn't looking for society to forgive him, or he wasn't looking to forgive society. He knew that's how it was, but he accepted himself as painfully human, and that's when he got his personal salvation, where the gods welcomed him with open arms. And another great example is Les Miserables. Probably butchered that name, but the pain of Jean Valjean. Jean Valjean was a poor man, grew up in a poor family, and he was working to help his sister and feed his nieces and nephews. And at one point, work dried up, and those kids were starving. And he broke into a store to steal a loaf of bread. He got caught and he got sentenced to decades of hard labor. And during those decades, he just learned to hate the world and hate everything about it. And he became just a vile person. And then when he was released, he didn't change. He still hated the world. And keep this in mind, he was even discriminated against because he was an ex-convict. So he just gave him more reason to hate the world. And then when he was given a free lodging by a bishop, he stole from the bishop. And then he got caught. And then the bishop told the officers that he didn't steal from him, but instead he gave him those things as a gift. And then he said he forgot to give him something else in addition to that. So he gave him much more than what he stole. And at that point, Jean Valjean is confused. The whole world that he came to hate and just wanted to invoke his hatred on everything. His whole worldview was being shattered by the kindness of this bishop. And this caused great confusion to him. And believe it or not, that was the moment where Jean Valjean started to grow and started to see that maybe there was more to this world than how he was viewing it, despite the pain and suffering that he went through, where he lost everything. He lost contact with his sister, his nephew and nieces. Everything he did was in vain, and no friends, no life, no career. This is at the age of 40. And again, I know this is all fictional works, but you have to understand the human spirit is not fictional. It's not. Like, if you read it, you can feel it in your heart, that pain and suffering and that inner transformation where he goes on to fulfill his potential and be the person that he wants to be, being more than someone who just wants to give hatred. Anyways, no, I'm going off on a tangent, but you have to understand that life will never stop being painful, but it's a matter of what you do with that pain. Do you use that pain to grow, or do you use that pain to just shrivel up and just shy away from the world? Another thing I guess I want to discuss too is mortality. I think it's so easy to think that life is long and horrible and unfulfilling, but I think it comes down to understanding that we're gonna die. I know this sounds so overplayed, but I think if you don't understand death, you'll never understand life. And that's, from like countless like psychology, philosophy books and all of that, but you have to realize that you're gonna die. You're gonna be extinct, done for eternity, never to see the sun rise again, never to feel the water splashing on your skin and during the rain, or feel the cold bitter winter, or see squirrels play with each other. You're see the smiles of someone else. It's all gonna be gone, whether that's eternal darkness or whatever it is. It's gone forever. And to be alive in this day and age it's a once in a universe chance. and we have to be responsible with that chance. I think one of the things, at least living in the West, it doesn't seem like this individual is living in the West, but when you live in the West, you have so much freedom. However, there comes so much responsibility with it. And some people, they don't know how to do that and they just falter. And I think it's just understanding that, listen, you're going to die. You're going to die. You're going to wake up one day and that's going to be the last time you'll see the sun rise, last time you'll see the moon fall. And then close your eyes into whatever. So again, understand death to respect life. So whatever it is that you want to do or think you can do, you have to assert yourself some way, somehow. And again, it's going to be painful. Like Kierkegaard said, to venture causes anxiety, but not to venture is to lose oneself. There's no easy picnic either way. Sometimes we shy away from the pain, not realizing the pain is what will allow us to grow and be who we want to be. There's no easy way. Never has and never will be. I do want to share, a quote for this fellow. It's from Richard Taylor. I mentioned this quote before in different videos. So let me just pull it out and just mention it. It's a pretty long quote. Another aspect of such a program of self-creation is that you can, at any point, start over. You need not invent your life once and for all. You can reinvent it as you go along, just as you need not take your ideals from those around you, from your family, your group, your religion, or whatever. So do you also not need to be stuck with whatever point you have gotten to? We are not omniscient. We go off in wrong directions. What we think we wanted turns out to be empty when achieved. And then it is time to start again. Have you failed as a writer? You need not be stuck with that role. Did you become a physician because everyone else praised that goal, and you just took their word for it? You need not be stuck with that either. It is never too late for a new start, building on what you have, but finding, or better, creating something new to become. Has your marriage failed? Then face the fact and start over. Are you lonely and abandoned? You need not accept it. But through all these possible changes in the circumstances of your life, what I refer to as externals, bear in mind that your primary interest must be in yourself and what you're going to do with that. Look at yourself, not just at your place in the world or at what to date you have done, but at who and what you are as a person. Are you pleased with what you see? Are you proud? If so, then you are blessed indeed. If not, then do something about it. Do not be tempted to take pride in putting up with what you are and imagining that mere endurance is a virtue worthy of anyone's aspiration. Alright, I think I'm just gonna wrap all this up. I know it's just kind of me going off on tangents and everything, but I truly hope this is helpful. Sometimes people just go through life thinking there's not much more to it, and I was there, but that's just a lie. So whatever it is, if you want to commit yourself, you have to commit. Stick with therapy. Remember that you're gonna die. Humanize yourself. And remember that everything that you're going through, countless human beings are going through it and have gone through it. So don't shy away from the classics. They're classics for a very good reason. Alright, so I hope this helped, guys. I know this isn't like my typical charismatic nerd video, but just thought I'd just make this. No cuts, no nothing, just being as honest as I can be. Alright, so thanks again, guys, for watching again. Have a great day.